Hi, I'm Jennifer Roberts. Welcome to my video. You're either catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44, or my Facebook page, True Divine 44. Like, share, subscribes and comments on either or both of those platforms are greatly appreciated. Much love to everybody who does that thus far. I'm putting out as much free content as I can, and right now I've been caught on the hop. The month has passed by very quickly. I realised what date it was, so I'm getting out the general tarot readings for each sign as quickly as I can for the month of April 2020. So this video is for Gemini for the month of April 2020. I've laid out 4 cards, a card for each week of the month, and then I've clarified each card with another card. So the first week, Gemini, is another repetitive card. It came out for Taurus, and that is the Strength card. All of the decks get shuffled a lot. I clear the energy, I smudge. So when cards repeat, it is something that I take notice of. But like I've been saying in my invitation for the energies of the day via tarot, those videos that I do most days, the readings have been very different lately in that they've connected with a lot more people at one time, because we're in such a unprecedented time where, you know, we're focused on one thing as a collective very intently. That one thing that has been thrown into the consciousness of the masses, and we are all sort of either conflicted, worried, or even excited about the changes that are happening. But there's very similar but intense feelings around this one subject. So the readings have been very intense and very direct, and in the general readings so far there has been quite a few repetitive cards from sign to sign. That doesn't happen too regularly, so it's something to take note of, that there are big changes for everybody. And those changes will roll into each other, you know, from sign to sign, from person to person. So the first card, being Strength, was found in the Taurus reading that I've just done. The old meaning, the old title for the Strength card in some of the older decks is Fortitude. We had a running joke on my friend's YouTube channel, and they are all friends on there in the chat room. It's Scotty Roberts' YouTube channel, and he's good with words. He's a bit of a wordsmith, and I can't remember what the subject was, but he came up with the fact that you need the scrotal fortitude to go forth. And that's what comes to mind here, Gemini. Needing that scrotal fortitude, you know, those balls, those brave balls to go forward onto your path, not overtly strong and boisterous, but that inner strength, that deep strength from within to go forth no matter what. And Geminis are pretty good at this. We can persevere, we can knuckle down when we need to, and there's a real feeling here of not allowing other people's limitations or labels on you, Gemini, to take you away from this strength, to have the strength to allow whatever other people think of you on your path, or what you're doing on your path, to just bounce off you, to deflect off you, having the shield of this, the energy of this Strength card around you, bouncing those things back to the sender. So to clarify this Strength card, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Now, Geminis are pretty good at rushing in and getting things done. But for a lot of you Geminis, I'm feeling that that just hasn't been working. No matter how hard you've tried, and you've tried hard leading up to this present time, it hasn't really worked rushing in. This knight is plotting his path. His horse is still. His horse is standing very still while he looks over the horizon to plot the right route, to plot the best route. And that's what's needed right now. And some Geminis will need to call upon that inner strength to hold back and wait for the right time. He's holding this creative pentacle here, this seed of creation. This something that you Geminis want to take forward, and want to take forward in the right way, on the best path to grow to its most optimum reality. So there's something that you need to maybe just wait a little while for. Coming into the second week, you don't have to wait long, because the second week is the Wheel of Fortune. It's represented with the Wheel of Fortune. And I really do feel that all of the culminations of the Wheel of Fortune, the chance, the fate, the destiny, all coming into one, in that you're not quite willing to rely on just luck anymore, Gemini. Now you really do want to knuckle down. I find a lot of Geminis that I know, and knowing myself, actually work their best when they're in the middle of a crisis, or when something is happening that, you know, really sort of spurs them on energetically. They can feed off that energy for good or bad. And I really feel that the current crisis that is going on right now around the world has spurred on a lot of you Geminis to say, oh no, we need to be sustainable, we need to plot this path, and we need to plot this path in a different way so that it's sustainable come what may. Geminis are very mentally agile, and I do feel in times like this, and in this time, there's a lot of Geminis that are really being very mentally agile and thinking outside of even their own comfort zone and planning way ahead to strategize for whatever might come their way. Whatever difficulties, whatever blessings, they want to know that they're sustainable no matter what. So you come into this Wheel of Fortune, and I really do feel that this Wheel of Fortune is huge for you this month, Gemini, the month of April 2020, because it's clarified by the Tower card. Now this is where the need for strength comes in also. The strength to just trust in the work that you've already put in to your life on your path thus far. Trust that you have positioned yourself in the right position with the energy of this Knight of Pentacles. Trust that the universe has your back. Trust that this Tower is only going to take away the obstacles that hold you back, that hold this wheel from turning. The Tower card is here for you, Gemini. I really feel, if this resonates with you, to remove those blocks, remove all blocks, so that you can come into real knowing of thyself and real opportunity. I keep seeing with this Tower, and I don't think I've ever seen this before, in the rubble picture, the rubble breaking open as it touches the ground, and gems, jewels, crystals being held inside of them. Things that have been hidden from you, or that you've hidden from yourself within the bricks, within the mortar of this Tower that's being built up. I really do feel this Tower represents for a lot of Geminis a real stripping of those labels and limitations that you've allowed to stick to you in the past, that you've allowed to sort of become part of you in the past, that don't belong to you. So there's a real freeing feeling here that but of course you will need that strength, that inner strength, because this is a lifetime of labels, this is a lifetime of limitations that are being stripped away. So it may feel a little bit disconcerting, it may feel a little bit shaky, a little bit, you know, unstable. But unstable for you is good right now, because it's going to make, like a water wheel, this Wheel of Fortune turn, and not just move you into the next cycle, Gemini, but catapult you into the next cycle in a way that you were not expecting. This is kind of like waiting and waiting, plotting, positioning yourself, and then boom, lightning speed, this change, this thunderous change coming in. And life will never ever be the same again for you, Gemini, if this resonates for you. Life will change exponentially, and it's the positioning of yourself, having that strength, that fortitude to wait, to plot, to understand where you needed to be, that ultimately is going to serve you during this second week of April, when this Wheel of Fortune and Tower combination comes in. It's thunderous, big, huge change in your life, Gemini. The third week after this thunderous change, all of this earthquakey type energy, we have the Two of Swords coming in. And so it may be that you feel a little bit unstable in the 3rd week of April, a little bit not knowing which direction to go in. But this Two of Swords also represents a balance. I really feel that it's a balance within self and maybe with a partner, because almost as if you've been in a stalemate with yourself, in that all of these labels and limitations that you allowed to stick to you, that you allowed to be part of you and start to represent you, it put you in a bit of a stalemate where there was always some kind of block to your ultimate Wheel of Fortune, to your ultimate destiny. And now that that's been taken away, it's this resolution after the stalemate with self. It's accepting the enormity of you, Gemini, the power that you have within you, and taking that time in the 3rd week of April to just transmute that, to just accept that, to just allow that to flow through you. The real power, the real potential, the real expansiveness that you are, that you represent, that you hold, is going to take a little bit of getting used to after all of these limitations and labels that you've allowed to have around you and on you. So it's really coming back into balance with self also. If it's within a relationship, it's bringing balance within that relationship also. I do feel that it might represent a breakup, but a very mutually agreeable breakup for some of you, where you just realise that you're just not on the right path. It's just not right together, but you know, you can be friends still. It may seem a little bit of an odd breakup because it's just so calm and so agreeable. So there's that to consider also. If it's a relationship that is continuing, for some of you it might be that there is a recalibration, a rebalancing of the roles within that relationship, because there's something happened to you in this 2nd week, Gemini, where you are closer to your true self, but because of that, because you'd allowed so many limitations and labels to stick around you, that you might seem like a different person to your partner. It might be like they're all of a sudden living with someone else, and that comes into balance, that is understood and actually starts to be enjoyed by the end of the 3rd week of April. To clarify, this Two of Swords is the Three of Wands. All of a sudden the horizon looks so different now, Gemini, from what you'd maybe expected you could ever attain. All of a sudden the wreckage of this tower moment has moved away, has been swept away, and you can see actually how much potential you have and how much work you've already put in has expanded this horizon, the possibilities of how you can go forward in the 3rd week of April. And it's a little bit overwhelming, I'm feeling, that, you know, that excitement and that the dawning on you that this is who I am, this is what I can attain. Wow, you know, I didn't dream of that. I couldn't process that before, but now I'm learning to accept that this is what I am, this is how I can attain things, this is what I am capable of. Bringing in those new unlimited potentials rather than limited limitations and labels and names that were put on you previously, or that you allowed to be put on you previously. All of a sudden those are stripped away and the sky is clear. Your mind is clear, you can see the possibilities, you can see the expansiveness, and right now with this Two of Swords you don't know quite which direction to go in with it, but you are excited and ready to start acting upon it. So the 4th week of April 2020 brings in another 2, and it's the 2 of Pentacles. And with this, there is this business, this creative idea that you're wanting to bring in, or that you already have brought in. And in the 4th week of April 2020, you really are coming into your own in juggling the different aspects of life, i.e. work life and home life, friendships and partnerships. There's a real balancing happening here in the last 2 weeks of April. And you bring in those 2 aspects of life into balance, whereas they might have been a bit difficult before we came to this strength card at the start of the reading. There's just this natural balance here. But for some of you, there is a problem that may need to be dealt with, that may have been uncovered by this Tower coming in the 2nd week. Because the devil is clarifying this 2 of Pentacles. And maybe it is either relating to yourself or to somebody who's close to you, a partner, somebody who shares the finances with you, has maybe a bit of a gambling problem. And that needs to be dealt with before it ruins something, either the relationship or the sustainability, materialistically wise. Something around gambling needs to be dealt with for some of you, and you'll either need to decide to cut yourself away from that relationship, or have some real honest to God truthful talks about which direction you're going to go in to fix this problem. If it isn't you that is gambling, Gemini, then remember, it's only the person that can choose to change things, to fix things. You can't choose that for them, and you can't make that happen. Although you can be a supportive role if you choose to be so, you can't actually make that happen. It's not something that the Gemini wand can fix. So just bear that in mind. For some other Geminis, it is just a case of balancing out some of the more animalistic side of you with the more strategic, more grounded side of you, in that you might need to cut some things out that aren't serving you, cut some things out that are dragging you down, and maybe trying to drag you down to a place that you were before the Tower fell. It's time to break those chains, Gemini. It's time to break those chains regarding the previous blocks that you've had in your life, especially regarding material sustainability, material freedom, financial bliss, financial balance. Maybe some of those labels and some of those limitations are still trying to stick around you a little bit, and it's for you to break those chains. It's for you to break that mindset, so that it doesn't sneak back in. Also, for some Geminis, it has been a long time of all work and no play. And it may be that part of the balancing act for some of you might be that, you need to get in touch with your animalistic side, that, you do need to give yourself the opportunity to have some of that passionate side of self, and not ignore that, not be all work and no play, not ignore that very important, integral, creative side of self regarding the creative side of sex magic, things that can be created through energies being exchanged either with yourself or with somebody else. And maybe that's been ignored a little bit for some of you, and that needs to be, touched upon, so to speak. Touch base with the animalistic side of you. I think it will reinvigorate you and re-energize you if that is a part of you that you've been ignoring for far too long. But definitely for those who are dealing with the gambling side of things, if it relates to you, Gemini, you have that strength, you have that fortitude to break those chains, to break the monotony of the cycles that gambling ultimately causes each time and every time that it's designed to do so. You have the strength to cut that out, and you also have the strength to cut that out in the kindest possible way if it is in your life, but in your life via somebody else bringing it into your life. Right now you don't need that, you don't want that, and it's up to that person to either decide to change, either decide to break free from that gambling side of life, or to stick with it. But it's not your choice to do so, and it's not your job to do so. So on the bottom of the deck again we have another Two of Swords, so we have 3 2s making up the 6. I have to add up the numbers, I haven't got time, but that would be interesting. So we've got the Two of Swords here. So there's a real feeling here, not of indecisiveness, I don't feel that, but I think a lot of you have just submitted to this this fortitude, this strength, and just the knowing of the universe is acting in a very definite, very intentful way right now, and you've just maybe decided that you're just going to sit here with the blindfold on and go with the flow, which is something that a lot of you Geminis haven't tried yet, or haven't tried for a long time. And I feel it's right for you. I feel it's right to just wait and see. There are choices that will become much more apparent to you later down the line, rather than forcing a choice. There's many choices here for you, Gemini, and I think flowing with that Wheel of Fortune and that Tower card is ultimately going to serve you much better than forcing any subject or forcing any choice. Being able to stand firm and wait. On the bottom of the other deck we have the Prince of Cups, the Page of Cups. So you know, this is definite news coming in that could pertain to money, to ways of making money, to connections being made that will ultimately serve both parties on either side, money wise, material sustainability wise. This is a gentle character, and very definitely a messenger, I feel, in the physical form, in the 3D physical form, that will be making an approach to you, Gemini, during the month of April 2020. And I think it's pretty safe to take note of the news that they pass on to you and the messages that they pass on to you. I think ultimately, on the whole, if this reading resonates with you, it'll be information that will just bolster your decision to let the universe flow over you and around you and within you, and see where it takes you. So that is the reading for Gemini for April 2020. I hope it helped, I hope it guided and inspired you in ways that it was meant to do so. If you would like a private reading with me, which is much more on point, much more precise and much more in depth, then you can support me and my family by booking a private reading with any of the information above or below this video, depending on where you're watching it, or you can message me on Facebook Messenger on my True Divine page on Facebook, True Divine 44. If you put in capitals the service you require, i.e. reading or energy work. I'm not doing any massages right now for obvious reasons. You can do that, and that would be great. I really appreciate that. And always the likes, the shares and the subscribes help enormously to grow what I'm trying to grow here. So thank you in advance. Much love, be balanced and be whole. Mwah.